I'm obviously, truly inspiring. So thanks for that, Father. Really elevated company, and it obviously makes me very, honored and humbled to say something in closing with the prevailing theme of hope. But I think what I want to do in this discussion is essentially bring it back to Lamsa. And by the way, every word that I say here it comes from the heart, because it is really true. And to me, Badr and Lamsa, I think in many ways are the very embodiment of hope. Whereas faith or trust is a function of the intellect, hope as an act of pure will is by all accounts a virtue, and it has been recognized as such through the ages. Hope is also uniquely human, and often comes to us, as is the case now, in the most challenging of times. But it's also typically the first sign of an expectation of a better outcome from the circumstances of the present. And that expectation, that hope, has the potential to create a positive state of mind, which in turn, and you've seen this across the audience and the discussions tonight, it creates confidence, where we start working towards a better outcome. And that in itself starts manifesting itself in our actions, in our words, but most importantly, how other people perceive us. And they start believing in the better reality that we are creating in front of their very eyes. So hope can be much more than mere faith or trust or reliance on a good fortune. Hope, as is the case with love, can quite literally change everything. Which brings me back to the point of Badr and Lamsa and why I think they're the embodiment of hope. And as all of you know, Lamsa obviously means touch in Arabic. And I think you only need to spend a few minutes with Badr to be truly touched by the energy and the positivity that explains the whole Lamsa ethos. Lamsa, at its very essence, is born out of the expectation of a better outcome. And that expectation is directed at the subject of our greatest hope, the future of our children, and the important role that education will play in it. Now, I consider myself very, very, very privileged to have been part of the Lamsa story from a very early stage, and to count Badr as a friend, and to see how they work their magic, and the difference that they make by touching people's lives, creating hope, and also realizing the dreams that emanate as a consequence thereof. And in doing so, they never forget what is important. I mean, if you look at Badr's latest newsletter to shareholders, you will note that their focus amongst all of this negativity and panic remained firmly, first and foremost, on the relationship building positively with the parents and the children using Lamsa, launching their own hope program, continuing to build trust, credibility, and goodwill. And by doing so, they've achieved wonderful outcomes in very difficult circumstances. And also building a very strong team culture and processes in the organization along the way. Almost essentially lighting a new fire in Lamsa at a very critical time that will serve them very well for the future as far as I'm concerned. Like most of you, I've also been very incredibly fortunate to be in a position where I can, on a broader basis, see the positive energy that can be derived from hope, and it being applied on a daily basis by people with vision and energy to quite literally bend the rules of reality into a better present and future. And in my view, the real value of those experiences is often not what is gained personally in the form of accolades or compensation or recognition amongst your peers, but rather to see something very small being made much bigger and better, often beyond anyone's wildest dreams, by others who also buy into those hopes and dreams, and who believe in them, place their trust in them, and who persisted in that hope that was created by that first flicker of inspiration. And I think in many ways, anyone that attended this Majlis this evening bought into the hopes and dreams of Lamsa and very much believes in its overall objectives. I know that I do, and I made sure that I brought all my really, really good friends to come along for this great adventure. And thus far, it's been very rewarding for us in more ways than one. So on that note, I want to thank you very much for your time and support today and your participation in this beautiful manifestation of hope that is Lamsa. I know that you all enjoyed this event thoroughly. May there be many more in the future. So thank you, Bahadur, and the team for the great effort in making this event special. Thank you and good night.